figure out exactly how the odds stack against each other. Sandbox against DPLUS, map 1. I'm going to get out of here. You two have fun.
Thank you very much, Caliber Jacob. And Mandy, we are getting straight into it with an unusual ban here from Sandbox. Not every day you get to see that thermite taken out of the equation.
Yeah, hard because of the way that the explosive physics works in this game, right? When you put that thermite charge down, not only do you destroy the wall of the thermite charge, but you can also destroy skyscraper. There are so many walls that you can do that on, whether it's on the geisha wall, on the office wall, or even some of the internal walls. You won't be using thermite to do that, so taking him off the board will force more of that ranged hard breach to be used internal in the building as well.
Surely we're not actually going to see this Galaz Send strat picked as well. Was it Sandbox? I'm trying to remember which team was it we were casting recently, Mandy, where we saw so much of this Galaz and Rush play. I actually think that might have been Japan, but we saw a bit of it from Korea.
That was Japan
surely.
League. That was definitely Japan League. That is not a thing that would happen in Korea League. That is all I can tell you. Are you telling me this is going to be repicks? All of these are going to be repicks. Well, I'm almost certain that is where we saw it, 100%. I can't remember which Japanese team it was. But look, I think that looking for a push like this is quite viable on this particular bomb site. Often when you see that glass, sends, smoke lineup, you want to be pushing the backside from the back stairs, right? You want to try and be getting control of that hallway and making your way straight into karaoke. It's a very centralized push, very linear push, but with the amount of utility that they have in their pocket, they could certainly make it work.
I like the idea. I always get excited when I see things like this. We'll see. I mean, they've almost all spawned here, haven't they? Wow. A lot of helipad spawns for Sandbox. I think Arakaza was the only one who didn't. And he spawned very nearby to put this early pressure on the geisha wall. Wow, this is not something you see every day, is it, Mandy?
No.
Some player, it's Good Boy in this case, with the suppressed DMR out on top of the... I don't even know what would you call this. Is like a palisade? He's far back. He's got the sniper
That's a real
nest.
fancy word. Look, I do not know about architecture to be able to tell you what that is. But look, that's exciting. They're already able to get their pressure on inside of karaoke, so it would indicate to me that they are just going to look to directly attack that bomb site and not sweep the map.
Well, here comes the breach on the geisha wall. Arakaze likely going to try and breach the single wall inside of geisha as well, because that'll cut off that deep line of sight. It does seem like Sandbox aren't actually keen to get tons of boots in the building. They want to play these outside the building angles. Two players, or is it just the one? One player now on the back balcony with another repelling. This is very much like a measure 3 times before eventually going for the cut strategy here from Sandbox, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So they want to be using that Sense gadget to try and get control of that hallway going into, between the bomb sites, really. They want to be able to use that glass to see through the Sense gadget, whether it's going to be bounced through the hallway or just create a point of entry. It's going to be able to inject Good Boy into this backside of the bomb site.
Here comes the smoke. Murphy to find the opener elsewhere, but immediately traded back by Yas, who still has control of the stairs. But of course, Good Boy looking through the smoke can cut him off. Great positioning here now from Sandbox and the numbers advantage.
And here we go, Good Boy using the cover of his own smoke like a ninja to be able to get his way in the building. And here comes the Sense gadget that we were talking a little bit about earlier. It's created this really odd little complex bounce along the hallway, and it's going to be able to enable Good Boy to see directly into that bomb site where the defenders cannot see him.
You really can see so clearly through the Sens, can't you? With that glass, even when you're moving. Vision is almost pixel perfect, but seems like Sandbox has stalled out a little bit here. I think the idea was to breach from top black an entryway, but it seems to have actually been juggled somehow with impacts from the defense. I didn't quite catch that, but Wookieeman may have come up clutch here. As the smoke comes through, Demic goes for yet another one of his smoke screens.
Keep in mind that they can still make their entry through this hallway with the one additional Sense gadget, which seems like what they're going to go for, but DPLUS Kia players there to shut them down as Arakaze tries to get the plant down.
Oh, this is a bit yikes, but what a shot there from Good Boy. Now he's got a cover with very low HP. Arakaze takes a little bit more damage, and eventually he does go down. This is very awkward now. A difficult post plan, and Soldier comes up from behind. Well played there from DPLUS Kia. I love the strategy from Sandbox. The DPLUS They had the perfect reply.
Really nice stuff from DPLUS Kia to be able to impact trick that final Selma charge from going off. That was really what shut down. That was the linchpin of the push that disconnected it, and it forced them to entry in through the hallway rather than just being able to get in the cover of that second reinforcement. As a result, they kind of lost that flood. Unfortunately, all the crossfires with the little holes in the ground and lines of sight were quite hard to contest. They were really one-sided angles for the defense, and as a result, the attack gets shut down.
I really hope we get more of that, Mandy. I just love stuff like
Me
that.
too.
Also, I'm going to say it again. I kind of said it while the round was going on, but I never realized how clearly Glaz can see through Sense. Because you know when you look through the smoke, as soon as you start moving a bit, your vision kind of cuts out. But I actually thought that the Sense gadget wasn't there for a second, because spectating him, it looked like you could see almost crystal clear.
Yeah, it's really cool. I actually like that as well. I had no idea just how much clarity you got on that Glaz scope, right? I thought that for sure with the layers of the Sense gadget even,
Yeah.
right? Like because it was bounced back and forth that it would be like a bit more fuzzy as well, but you can really see like all the way down the barrel.
That's cool as. I rate that. I'm excited. It makes me want to try it out, but then I'm going to have to need someone to play Sense for me, and I don't trust anyone to do that. So.
I'll do that for you.
Oh,
You know?
that's so
Oh,
sweet.
next
Will you
time
be
we
the
play
Sense
some
to my
rank.
Glaz?
Yeah, I'll be the Sense to your Glass. That's so lame. We're never doing that again.
Alright, I can't wait to get C4'd. Anyway, we are rotating now bomb sites for D+. Don't say Dam 1. D+ Kia.
You said it even though you said not to say it.
I was just talking to myself. No one can hear that. The voices in my head. But I like this from the Flores of Mephi, just easily dispatching with the... There was a line of sight open for the mirror to play off, and a very unusual strategy, but the Flores is just making that an actual gaping entry. Really does put extra pressure on that mirror.
A lot of hard breach as well in the hands of Sandbox. Keep in mind, Thermite has been banned out, so they have to use these Selma charges to create a point of entry to get into the bomb site. He's already used one on that single wall going into the top of that office VIP type room. Meanwhile, the rest of Sandbox as well are putting pressure on the other side of the map too. It's a pretty multifaceted push. Pressure on the bomb site and sweep happening at the same time.
I mean, I respect the problem solving on the feet that Sandbox are having to do here, because this is a very unusual strategy for D+.
Twice in the same round.
D+. For D+ Kia. As they have actually moved one of their mirror windows to now face the roam. I think Yas isn't going to hold on too long here. I wouldn't recommend it. He really should just fall off if he feels too much pressure. Speaking of pressure, look at this. Poor Woogie.
Well, Yas has got the hatch open next to him, so if he does want to fall if he can, Harper is there for the first pickup of the round onto Good Boys, supporting the roamers on the other side, but if he can trade one back. It's really weird seeing Harper on this side of the scoreboard, by the way. Harper, previously Sandbox player, now on D+ Kia. It was so weird just then watching him kill someone on Sandbox.
Yeah, that's going to catch me off for sure. I'm sure we'll talk more about Harper. He did spend quite a long time on this team. He has quite a history. Now moving over to the other side. I mean, he's going to have to sit out for the rest of this round, as there's not a lot of time left on that clock, Mandy. Just look at it ticking on down. 40 seconds. Still so many roamers at large here for D+, and a lot of headway still to be made by Sandbox.
Yeah, that's exactly right. By the time that they hit the bomb site, they're going to be met by this reservoir of utility. Not only is the mirror facing the roam, like you pointed out earlier, but there's also two smoke babes still in the hands of Woogieman, Shotgun 2, and only 20 seconds left to go.
Oh, this is going to have to be very explosive. Get on your bike, guys. Start getting to work. Mephi now. Don't count him out. He's a very sharp player, but I didn't even hear where that came from. Yas has taken down Arakaze, and a double for Yas. Once again, this man always seems to deliver for D+. MV Taylor, no chance he's going to have there in the 1-on-4. And so the round fizzles out for Sandbox.
Yeah, Sandbox just taking way too much time on that cross-map rotation. Even though they had the pressure going out on the bomb site, they took too long to get across the other side of the map and then make the roam clear successful. Like you pointed out, really extensive setup from D+ Kia made it quite difficult for Sandbox to maneuver their way through the map, and by the time they hit the bomb site, there simply was not enough time.
All right, let's play a game. Let's play a game. It's called, I'm going to get you're a very qualitative person, right, Mandy? That's what we always say.
Qualitative person,
whereas I'm the
and
guy
you're
that's
very
obsessed with numbers.
Yeah, you've got
So,
the numbers, you've got a spreadsheet,
let's play a game called How Defend Decide this Skyscraper, because 2-0 looks pretty bad, the sandbox, right? So you give me your thoughts while I look at my stats. So what do you think?
I give you qualitative thoughts while you give me... Well, are you going to tell me the statistics?
No, that's the whole point.
Am I gonna,
that's
the whole point is that...
I want to make you look bad if you're wrong. So, what are your qualitative thoughts? And then I'll tell you the numbers.
Well, my qualitative thoughts are, I think Skyscraper is quite challenging to attack, especially with the bans that have gone out, right? Because you have Thermite gone, and that's a little tricky because it means like getting control of the external walls is really hard. And then getting entries off on this map is super hard as well because there are not that many viable entries yet, so you need to open external walls to get in the map in the first place. Thermite gone means that's hard. Ying gone also means that your second type of attack with like Candelas and the utility dumping is also made a little bit more difficult, but then supplemented by like Glaz and Sens and that kind of thing. But that's extra operators that you have to bring along the board. So I'm expecting it to be more defender-sided. Even though Solus is gone, you have Azami on board, and you don't really have enough explosives to deal with it. So that's
okay.
Yeah,
that's
my thoughts.
All right. So overall, I mean, Skyscraper, by the way, is the second least played map in Blast Rainbow Six overall, and it is defender side at 55%. It's only been played twice in South Korea, and it is actually at 65% attacker sided, but that's such a small sample size, you can't really read into that, right? So there you go. 10
So your
points to
stats
Gryffindor.
didn't mean anything anyway. Is that what you're saying? you say your stats and then you go, but my sample size is too low, so my stats don't matter.
On. So Sandbox on the attack here. Flores Jones clearing out these castle brackets. I don't mind that. I mean, this is a difficult site to defend down in Bedram.
Yeah, I think so. And the other thing is that Azami is still on the board for Soldier as well, and so he's going to be able to create these extra fortress positions, these tiny additional power positions in the bomb site that are going to be really hard to clear for Sandbox. Wookieeman as well taking down Demic is not going to make things any easier because that's one set of explosives to try and deal with that setup once they get to the bomb site.
Yeah, wow, this is so awkward. I heard a C4 detonate just then. Mephi trying to dodge them by standing on top of the display cases, but he's also mid-gunfight. I think Woogie's just been taken down. Likely to be finished in just a moment, but Mephi is worried about his flank. Finally, Woogie finished off, and the numbers are even.
Yeah, still a play. That's Yas all the way inside of Dragon. Can use this 1.5x on this super long line of sight going out all the way to the balcony and hasn't spotted a player just yet, but one to his right. Surely he'll see him as he pops his head out. That's Arakage on the other side, but info's there for him. Yellow ping will scare away Yas.
Good boy's coming up for the lurk as well. I think he is actually going to go for the backstab here on the Shrine player. Could well find that if he doesn't make too much noise, is he going to check his corner? He absolutely will. Yas goes down, and this looks like a very good round now for Sandbox.
It's looking like a good round, but once again, 30 seconds on the board, and Soldier is still the one creating all these really pesky positions on the bomb site. Keep in mind, not a single bit of explosive utility left on the side of Sandbox to deal with these positions, right? So Soldier is going to be in a very, very good position come the execute.
And Coded's done a lot of damage already with that M870 shotgun. Good boy needs to try and find this player. It's Harper, his former teammate, that takes him down. Mephi now desperate, taking the scope off, and shotgun's always going to be sniper at that range, and the shotgun goes huge for Coded. A 3k on the round with the M870, and that's a complete sweep now. 3 rounds for DPLUS.
Yeah, looking really solid for DPLUS here on the defense side. I actually kind of like the strats that they've been bringing out. It feels like they're trying to hold on to a lot on the map at once, and I think it's really throwing Sandbox off guard, right? Sandbox, no matter where they put pressure, they're met by a DPLUS Kia player that is already there, and they're simply just taking too long to get things done. And in my opinion as well, the lineups that they keep bringing into these DPLUS Kia defenses sort of don't deal with the setups that well, particularly in that round. I think lack of explosives was really tough, and even if you want to go for a roam clear, you've got stuff like the Jackal that's on board, right? It just feels like they're not quite utilizing all the attacker tools that are out there to try and deal with what DPLUS Kia are bringing.
I'm excited to see that the DPLUS have a lot of different strategies on their defense. There are a lot of unique setups. It's not something you just toss out there. Hey, I've got Castle, I'm going to put all these really specific castle barricades upstairs. Hey, I'm going to play bandit shotgun so I can contest people through the vert while they jump into windows. It's very unusual. This is well thought out strategies the DPLUS, and I think the extra thinking time, the extra problem solving that's required by Sandbox is letting them down.
Yeah, 100%. Keep in mind for the attack, although Thermite and Ying are banned out, there is still some problem solving that is needed to be done to make sure that you bring along all the right utility to try and deal with this defender set up 1-to-1, right? You need something to deal with the roam clear. That's why the Dokkaebi is being repicked onto just there. You need explosives to deal with his army. That's why we've got Zofia. It's also why we saw Flores in the previous round, right? And there we go. It's actually a repick on Flores as well from Demic. So it just feels like Sandbox are starting to put together this attack a little bit better to try and deal with what DPLUS Key are bringing.
We do need to see Sandbox have a little bit more depth in their attacks, though, because often they seem to be just lynching on one tiny little linchpin. I really messed that up. But, you know, the Glaz, if it doesn't work out, the round falls apart.
Yeah.
You know, the impact trick on the previous time we saw Sandbox attack this site, the impact trick denied them from getting in at the top back stairs. So now, I'm going to try something a little bit different.
I think entirely they're changing their philosophy there. Off the back of your point as well, right, Dev? The whole idea of the Sandbox attacks previous were just take the path of least resistance, right? You don't want to have to deal with the defense, so try and do something special. Whereas this attacker lineup that they're bringing with all the utility, especially explosives, I think is more directly dealing with the challenge at hand. They're saying, okay, you have all your utility there, but we have everything that we have to clear it. So completely different idea from Sandbox in this round.
I wonder if the Lurks will be a bit more successful. I feel like Good Boy has been finding kills, but not the most impactful ones. And I think Sandbox as a whole has just lacked actual teeth as a unit to crack on in and dismantle this DPLUS defenses. At the moment, just dealing with this roam here on Office and Display, or Samurai, there's 100 different words. I like the vertical nade idea, and it actually does quite a bit of damage here to Coded.
It's nice. Coded was trying to get up nice and personal onto that single window that Mephi is trying to jump in. Keep in mind, finding entry places in Skyscraper, really difficult task. There are not that many viable places to jump into the building, so that grenade to create space for Mephi to hop in is really helpful.
What's the defense going to do to reply? I think they're just going to fall on back here as Demic is starting to drone it out and call it out. He sees that there's nobody left. In Office, Good Boy spots the shield in the pretty common position here in Shrine, while also keeping an eye on flanks. So Sandbox have a path forward, but really this is the problem, right? There's a lot of choke points, and now they're just meeting the next point of defense.
You're totally right about that. The roam, even though they have fallen off, they've done their job, just like you said, that they've been able to hold on for long enough that now Sandbox are going to have to face all of these choke points here, the wall reinforced off and electrified, so they're going to have to send Envy over, who actually has no more EMPs in his hand. There's no way that wall is getting opened, unless they send a nade in from below, but even getting below control is not something that they really have any progress on themselves either.
Okay, here's an entry though. Was that on the Lurk? I think that must have been down below. No, it actually made its way all the way up. Yeah, have a look at that. Out of nades though, and as you mentioned it, these Azamis are so difficult to clear. 20 seconds to go. Don't hold your breath, guys. Sandbox, you got to get a move on. DPLUS can simply hold their positions. It's Harper here looking to make a play, actually, as Code is locking down the bomb site. Yas taken down, but the trade is ready and able. But at the end of the day, Sandbox just go nuts. Entering in through Geisha of all places. Good Boy can clutch the round.
Unfortunate for DPLUS Kia in this setup with the Azami barricades that they had set up on the two choke points that Sandbox had to entry through. It felt like it was DPLUS Kia's round to win, but Sandbox finding that entry in from the Geisha side, being able to get into the side of DPLUS Kia's defense setup rather than pushing their way only through the choke points really opened up the round for them to make the execute work in the dying seconds.
Well, now they finally have something, Mandy. But linking back to our previous conversation, but, you know, with no mention to stats of any kind, because as we have already pre-established, they're irrelevant and really just distracting, and no one likes them anyway. What is...
Oh, the self-burn. That one's rare.
What is the pass mark here for Sandbox on the attack, right? Is it 2 rounds? Are they halfway there?
I think so. I think 2 rounds would be okay, I think. I feel like they could go for more, maybe. Like, look, Solus isn't on the board, and Mute's not on the board either. So, in theory, sweeping can't be that bad, you know? In theory. But it is hard. It is hard. It's still Skyscraper, and it's still hard to get in on the map. So I think that, yeah, 2 would be good. 3 would be even better. I think 2, yeah, good. Happy.
Okay. Yeah, pointing out that mute ban again, it kind of flew under the radar for me, but it does make a little bit of sense with how much we're seeing Sandbox bring that Flores. It's been every single round so far. Damic's been doing work. I mean, it's the first thing he does. He rappels up. All right, onto me drone. It's like the ultimate soft breacher / info gatherer / util clearer. It does everything.
Yeah, and we're seeing him do it right now on board with Demic himself. And he's actually seen this mirror setup go down inside of that bar position, so getting that wall open is going to be quite challenging. Mine Sandbox do not have any ranged soft breach either, and so there's no way that they're going to be able to make that hole in entry. They wouldn't want to regardless. There is a mirror there to deal with it, so they're going to put their attention onto the office side of this defense instead, get open that single wall. I think for them, they might have to flip their attack around and either go bottom up, or they're going to have to actually sweep from here, because facing that external wall with their lineup is, in my opinion, nigh impossible.
Yeah, how are they going to clear that mirror? Like,
I don't think they can,
yeah,
right?
I mean, you could try and use Ace, I guess, but then it's probably
but then you have to stick your face in the wall,
yeah,
right? That's scary. Why would you want to stick your face in the wall when it's got a line of sight like that? It's so one-sided.
Wouldn't. Yeah, it's hella orcs. Is Murphy just going to try and contest it with the smoke cover? Surely that doesn't work.
He could, like, if he puts the smoke on the wall and then they try and work on it with the ace and the whatever, the thermite. The thermite. The thatch. Good, but hang on, Good Boy's just sending it straight up the main stairs.
Yeah, he's dead though. So unfortunate for Good Boy. Unfortunate for Sandbox. They fall apart. It's pretty easy. Mop up. Hello. Hang on a second. Mephi's managed to contest that mirror, but Yas has retaken the position. Now it's all on NV Taylor. He has moved forward into the side diffuser in pocket, but doesn't check the top of the stairs, where Harper, his longtime teammate, does lie in wait to claim his life. Still only one round on the board for Sandbox. DPLUS are looking hot here on Skyscraper.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I feel like DPLUS gear just looks so comfortable on this. Every single one of these sites that they've played, they look absolutely in their element right now, playing the defense. It just feels like every time we see a Sandbox lineup and then see a DPLUS Kia setup, there's like no way that they can deal with the setup that's at hand, right? Like it feels like even if they wanted to problem solve, like what would they problem solve with, right? It's just like
I don't know. What if they had more info, like in the prep phase, surely they could have repicked and brought some different ops. I don't know. Like, hell, even try a Twitch, try a Capital. There's all these kind of things they could consider, right? Like, they don't. Yeah. I don't know. It feels a bit strange to me that they continue to rock with the same philosophy, it seems, with the exception of that attempted rush, like the Glaz thing. I don't know. Strange.
Yeah, it just feels like there's like a serious lack of like mid-game adaptation coming from Sandbox, and DPLUS Kia are going the if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of philosophy, right? And they're still running the same. In fact, I think the strategy is exactly the same with the castle and even the shield inside of reception. Like 1-to-1, this strategy has been repeated for DPLUS Kia on this bomb site because Sandbox don't know how to deal with it, right? And so I think Sandbox, it's more on the onus of them to try and problem solve in this final round.
Yeah, it's not easy going up against this strategy. We're seeing something change. There's no wall denial anymore from Dumb1 Kia. DPLUS, oh my god, again. DPLUS Kia. Every time I say damn, I'm just gonna say every time I go to say dumb one, I'll just say damn it. Damn it! DPLUS, why'd you change your name? Because the thing I was trying to point out was Coded, right? He was previously on the Bandit with the shotgun. Now he's on the Malusi. He has impacts. I don't know if that's some kind of wall denial, like he's going to try and impact trick the Selmas. But one thing is for certain, we don't have that shoddy anymore, which he got a 3k with last time.
Well, I reckon you just bring, like, the Banshees, right? You know how slow Sandbox are at getting to the bomb site. So you get to put the Banshees, and you put them all around the site, and then you just sit there and you wait, and you see what happens. Because, honestly, I feel like there's absolutely no way that Sandbox are going to see them in time and clear every single one of those Banshees by the time they get to the execute, because they've just been slow on these attacks.
Ooh, I like this. The Flores, they know that there's going to be ADS to protect the shield. Doesn't matter that Harper's got 2 ADSs. The shield goes down regardless. A drone comes out, spots him, he doesn't see it, and now Good Boy can come and sneak in through Pantry.
I think the Flores might be the one piece of utility on the attack that we've actually seen be super effective consistently every single round without fail. That being taken down, the positions inside of reception would indicate to me that Sandbox are looking for a more horizontal take onto the bomb site. They don't want to take the floor above, they're just going to try and hit all of the anchors on the site.
I like that. Arakaja has just destroyed the barricade that was protecting the Harper's position, and they end up just pinching him. Like, pressure from 3 angles. He's taken down. That's good control now, as you said, in this horizontal take, but still no breach opened. No entry for Sandbox into bathroom. As the first exchange does go down, and Woogie Man holds down the line. 2 players from Sandbox, 3 now fall into the meat grinder. It's just Mephi left upstairs. Coded catches him out. Was he wearing a Sandbox jersey? What? I thought I saw someone on the cam wearing a Sandbox jersey. But no, in fact, it was DPLUS once again to dominate. 5-1 on the half.
That's a really scary defense half from DPLUS Kia. They have just played that map to perfection, in my opinion. Some really smart strategies that Sandbox just couldn't cut down. They couldn't dissect them at all. Even through 6 rounds worth, it never really felt like they had an in on any one of the strategies that DPLUS Kia were able to bring along to that. And as a result, they clean up a really nice half. And going to a defense up 5 rounds is very, very comfortable position to be on. Did I just say defense? Going into their attack,
yeah.
Sorry. Yep.
Same. Don't worry, if I didn't notice, no one else watching would have noticed.
Okay, yeah, no one else did. We didn't say that. I didn't say that live on broadcast.
That's fine, you haven't said Dumb Kia 3 times so far. I was going to point out, we talked a bit about Harper. I looked at the numbers. He was on Sandbox, or he was on the team that eventually became Sandbox, so including back when they were C9. For over 2 years. 2 years he was teammates with Evie Taylor and the rest of the crew at the time. Now, you know, he had quite a bit of a stint on Burning Core, an amateur level team, not at the same echelon of your guys like your D+. Now he's found himself on one of, if not the best team in the region. In fact, Mandy, I think it's safe to say that this match determines who is the best team in Korea, right? There's huge stakes as well. You immediately go from playing in the phase 1 to phase 2. I mean, that is a massive advantage. Forget about just like skipping all the matches, but the extra prize pool, the extra SI points, it's a huge boon to whichever team can come out victorious.
Yeah, I think that for those watching at home that don't quite understand the format of the major, phase 1 of the major will be the play-in spot, right? So whoever doesn't win this matchup actually has to play in their spot for the major in Copenhagen, whereas the winner of this matchup has a direct in spot to phase 2 of the major already. So
and then phase 3 being the playoffs
the
itself, right?
Yes,
like the
playoffs
final main
itself.
stage event.
Correct. So you've got the playoffs, the play-ins, the group stage, and then the playoffs for the major. So
I love that.
Getting yourselves a win off this will give you a direct into the group stage, whereas losing this one, you have to play in your spot to the group stage. So this is an interesting attack from DPLUS Kia. All right, we've got Woogie Man. He's got Blitz, and that's scary. He's trying to map sweep with the Blitz. That's not cool if you are on the side of Sandbox. And here he goes, jumping in through that exhibition window.
Send it, mate. Absolutely send it. He spots out the Izami. He does eventually land his shots. Thank you, Finka, for that quick ADS time. He goes in for another one. He finds the double. What am I watching? This guy is just insane. 2 kills on the Blitz, and now DPLUS hungry for more. The Sandbox tried dastardly to hold on to their position, but their position is not an enviable one. A player down, and still that Blitz train ready to go hunting.
Woogie Man does not look like he's going to stop. I mean, we're seeing it from the other way around. Orakaje is being absolutely toyed with right now. And there he is, the Blitz train continuing. At least one smoke canister can take him down to a little bit lower HP, but that is still terrifying. Good boy, though. He's still holding onto his position inside of Drum, but is about to feel a world of pain.
Yep. Right between the eyes there. Coded. Moving up. Eventually replied by Demic, but 1v3. Ooh, Woogie Man not to go into the gas for too much. Demic, though, eventually does go down. My, Mandy, what a round. An explosive one to start and then fizzling out piece by piece to the end. DPLUS Kia on their map point. Sandbox's map pick on the back of, well, a round like that, that certainly puts Sandbox in their place.
was quite a fun round to watch. I liked that one a lot from Boogeyman,
I
bringing along
loved
the
it.
blitz. That was awesome. We got the full entertainment of the roam clear that happened from just Boogeyman. There wasn't really a crossfire that was there to stop him in his tracks, and the most that was able to stop him was 2 smoke canisters that took him down to a little bit lower HP, but really, he just waltzed his way on in the building and assassinated 2 people. One of them wasn't even looking at him. It was just a pure assassination from the blitz.
It's amazing
yeah.
how much the Finker boost really helps as well.
Oh, it is.
I like
It
that
is so
fast
crazy.
ADS time. It's crazy.
Make the man real speedy.
Yep.
Gets in the building, and he goes, wow!
The only
pull out my
thing's-
pistol and take you down.
The only thing scarier than a blitz running at you is a blitz running at you that's got like 20 extra HP and lightning
can quick
fast
draw.
aim down sights time. Oh my god, that is something
That's
else.
so cool. It's actually awesome. I love that so much. Not only that, but can you... Okay. Some rush that I've always wanted to try and do, okay? Alright, this is theory crafting. I'm getting a bit
Okay.
excited over this.
Okay.
But you know how when you do the finger boost, it like cleanses all your bad effects, yeah?
Yeah?
What if you like rushed in with Ying and then you cleansed yourself, like all, your whole team, with the finger boost, so evereveryone wasn't blind anymore once you got anyway.
I love that one. I would let you cook. If you called the strat, I would let you cook.
DPLUS Kia made their way into the building. Off the back of that, Amaru Garahook can get control of the adjacent side of the map, looking for a sweep, but Coded has seen the setup that they have here, and it's not too extensive, just a couple holes to try and put the pressure on through that hallway. Meanwhile, walls on the site getting opened by the rest of the team.
I just realized Coded's actually going 11-2 right now. He's having an insane game. I also kept getting caught out because he's changed his name to CTD, which in the world of modding, like game modding, that stands for crash to desktop. So if you get a CTD, that's a very bad thing. It's where your computer is crashing. So I hope that doesn't happen to any of these. I hope that doesn't happen to any of these teams during the game. I hope we have a nice swift bomb free from the rehosts that the previous game was plagued
Oh
by.
no, you've said it. Why did you say that? You've absolutely gone and said it.
I don't think we're going to have a chance to have any rehosts if DPLUS keeps speed running. They're bringing the Blitz, they're bringing the Amaru. It's 6-1, and this isn't even their map pick.
Okay, hold up. Don't get ahead of yourselves too much, okay? We've still got to clear the choke points of the map. There is still a shield and a mirror that is facing the map sweep that they are trying to do. The EMP has gone out, and look at that. Actually, double range hard breach is going to be quite good to do with this mirror.
They're trying to breach it. Why haven't they detonated the pellets yet? You know, that EMP is not going to last forever. Eventually that battery comes back online and destroys... Oh, no way! Forget about the battery! Woogie Man is just supercharged. Good boy. Pre-firing the mirror position. Sandbox once again. Everything seems to go downhill for them. 3v4 now, 3v5 now. Oh, man. What do they do from here on out?
It's disgusting from DPLUS Kia. Only 45 seconds left to go, and Mephi is still holding strong inside of his position inside of Dragon. Just playing behind that statue can be quite pesky to try and deal with. There's also a wall to protect him from behind too, so it's going to be quite a one-to-one engagement, but maybe the side just gets flooded from here.
In comes the logic bomb from the Dockerby. Wookie Man opening up a line of sight and traded now by Demic. Holding down as best he can. Arakaze has found one as well. We're in an even man count. As Arakaze does get the second. It's an injure, but not a finish. Coded to trade. There's 2 players left from Sandbox to stave off defeat here on their map pick. Soldier getting peeked, and Demic swings for the win before Coded once again replies. It's now a 1 versus 1. Mephi versus Coded. Mephi looks the wrong way. There's no way this works out. Oh my god, you can't be doing that to us, Sandbox. You're lucky to live on.
I can't believe what we just watched there right at the end. You got to check your doors and your corners. That's where you find them. That's where they get you.
That is how they
Poor
get
Sandbox. My gosh, that was a bit close, wasn't it? DPLUS Kia looked for the sweep of that map, but by the time that it actually came to the big chokeholds of the map, they weren't actually able to get a crack on in. They never ended up clearing that position in Dragon, for example, where Mephi was. They were never able to clear past that mirror without actually having to flood their way in through the door. So DPLUS Kia, even though they had the man advantage, Sandbox had the better positioning and are able to take down 2 or 3 players just by themselves.
The fact that that is The only defense round we've seen from Sandbox, and it was that close. Does not bode well for them,
Good
Mandy.
grief. Don't tell me about it. Do not even tell me about it. That was scary. I really thought Coded was going to get off the diffuser and gun him down
Yeah,
with a
me
G8.
too.
I kid you
Me
not.
too. Right when he was looking the other way, I think there was still a second on the clock as he ran past. Maybe Coded could have faked it. I don't know if he had the time. But he has certainly had plenty of time to show off in this game. 13 kills. And now they're putting him on the on the Yana, on the Ash. He's been given the G36C license. Let's see what he can do with them. I expect this man... I mean, if this game went to OT, this guy would probably hit 20 kills. I don't think that's going to be the case, but mostly because I think DPLUS is going to close the game before Coded has a chance to rack up too many more kills.
I also just want to quickly point out, because it's potentially the final round, just how different the lineup for attack is between these two teams, right? When you think back on what Sandbox were bringing, you didn't have stuff like the Iana. The Iana's been substituted out, you know, for what was the Glaz. And instead you have double hard breach, so they have a lot of redundancy in what they can open. But you've also got the explosives on the Iana, you've got the explosives on the Flores, and like you said a little bit earlier, you've got the Twitch to at least try and cut down on what a reservoir of utility there might be for the defense. So it just feels like DPLUS Kia just outright have more things that can deal with the defense compared to when Sandbox were playing their attack.
Sandbox, it's a bit of a patient game. Once again, trying to leverage the Azami, but DPLUS can just gradually start to whittle away at the defense, clearing these site util. For example, the Vulcan canisters from the Goyo, I see one had already detonated. They're not seeming to take a lot of map control though, Mandy. Just focusing on direct push, clearing out the util on site.
Well, I think the thing about this bomb site is you don't really need to sweep the map if you don't want to. You can just try and take the top floor with the external walls and then put the pressure down on the ground floor at the same time. It's quite a claustrophobic bomb site to defense, so if you are the attackers, there's a lot less win conditions that you need to close out compared to the other bomb sites. So I think that for certain, DPLUS can take a little bit more time here to try and use all of their utility in their hands to clear out and dissect this defense.
What was that spotted in the corner? Was that a Valkyrie camera perhaps? Regardless, whatever it was, it's now been cleared by yet another Rotero as the final one goes out for Harper. And we see what he's looking to clear this time. There is now a rotation already into Bathroom. He's getting a little bit more info, and that Rotero does go down as it spots the player holding reception. Very similar defense from Sandbox to what we saw from DPLUS, but here comes Coded.
Ooh. Okay, what's scaring me for DPLUS Key is, yes, they're going for this direct attack, but there's so much vertical control that Sandbox have got, and there it is, Mephi to open it up.
He's taking down Yas, but he doesn't realize that Coded's coming hunting as well, and he finds the kill. 3v3. Will the vertical be able to be enabled here for Sandbox? It's Good Boy on site. As Arakaze doubles down, Coded left in a 1v3. 14 kills to his name so far. Spots the player for just a moment. See what he can achieve here. Doesn't look like very much. And the vertical game, you said it, Mandy, and Arakaze delivers. Sandbox finally start finding some success on their defensive side.
Yeah, really nice strat from Sandbox there. Death from above was the concept, and I think it worked out to perfection once that execute came through. DPLUS Kia not quite respecting the control that Sandbox had upstairs, and not realizing just what they could see as they went for that reception execute. There was Arakaje, who I believe was able to take down 2 or 3 players from that position, and Good Boy holding on with the shotgun. Of course, was not affected by the flashes as well of the Hibana, was able to take down the execute as it came through. And for DPLUS Kia, look, they spent a lot of time trying to dissect that one and take it apart, but not realizing that the win condition was in fact to make sure that vertical player could not play that line of sight for the execute they wanted to go for, cost them the round.
Yeah, it's so hard, right? Like, if they could have just sprinted past the line of sight, maybe, but they're trying to hunt down Good Boy, who's playing with a shotgun and SMG-12 in the corner in the bathtub. Like, it's not going to be easy to achieve both of those things at the same time. Now we start to see DPLUS falter a little bit. Sandbox finally have the guts to return back to Tea Room Karaoke, which was a real shame for them last time. This was when DPLUS found map point, using that blitz to roam clear. DPLUS dominated Sandbox, who looked like chumps on the round. Now they've got quite a different extension from what I can see. The castle and the Azami. There's a lot of util here to clear, not to mention the Goyo.
Yeah, but just have a look at what DPLUS Key are actually bringing for their lineup. You've got the Monty in hand as well as the Glaz, and that would indicate to me that they are going for a more direct take. They're not going for the sweep that they had showed off last time they attacked this bomb site. And I think Sandbox might be in for a bit of a surprise now. They do have the combination of the Azami and the Castle, and with the lineup that DPLUS Key have got, once again, actually they've got 3 sets of explosives on nades, so they could try and deal with things. But I think it'll be a little challenging to work alongside the Monty and the Glaz execute that they're going for.
This roam below might make it difficult to pull this off, though.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Here comes the drone. Demic spotted. But perhaps starting to clue in a little bit to what DPLUS have in mind as he makes his way upstairs. The Monty goes into bathroom. Did I hear a Selma from Soldier for a moment? I'm not sure if my ears deceive me. These vertical lines aside as well, making it really awkward for Woogie. He changes his mind. But Harper's found a drone on site.
I actually like what DPLUS Kia were just able to do. They forced all 4 out of their 5 players down on that ground floor to at least put the pressure on those roamers there. And I think it's actually forced most of those roamers to come back to the bomb site, I believe. I think there's only one of them left down there. So if DPLUS Kia do want control downstairs, they have 3 sets of nades. They could certainly put that to use.
This is a real game of wits, isn't it, though?
Yeah, it is.
DPLUS keeps tempting, keeps tricking, keeps deceiving Sandbox on where they're going to be pushing. Finally, I think Woogie Man is the one to telegraph the push a little bit more as he's here on the back balcony with the Monty. Glaz is paired up with him. Yeah, see, Sandbox are deciding where to put their Azami. Where do we want these Kiwa barriers in the late round as Coded is in prime position to deal some damage from below.
Oh, there we go. Yellow ping as well. One nade to go out on the stairs, and he actually doesn't have any more nades in hand, but can take down Demic to very, very low HP. But once again, time ticking low for the attack, and yes, can be taken down by Harper.
And Good Boy is still downstairs. Harper picks back up one player before going down to Envy Taylor. This is going to be a very awkward and chaotic end round, I believe. As the plant begins to go down, Good Boy found one on his roam below. Coded no longer a problem, but this plant sure will be. When you've got a Monty on site who's dealing damage, anything is possible now for DPLUS. Could it be a 1v4 here for Woogie Man? No, it's not going to be. He gave it his all, but well played by Sandbox to push together. Retake, and they will get this disabled. Mandy, round by round, they are pulling this back into the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's getting close. It's definitely getting closer every single round, like you're saying. DPLUS Kia, they're quite taking their time. They're being cautious to dissect these defenses and try and pull them apart, but time is the enemy. And for Sandbox, they're actually doing a very good job about being disciplined and holding on to their ground, right? I think from there it can get very easy to get a bit antsy and try and have a look to see what DPLUS Key are doing, just stick your head in a few doors and see what's going on the other side. But I think for Sandbox, being able to play the strategy with the Goyo, with the Azami and the Castle, making sure they're holding onto their power positions as anchors was a lot of discipline from them, and it really closed it out against DPLUS Kia. I think taking this tactical timeout is pretty warranted for these guys. I think they only need one more round. So they just need to talk about getting a wriggle on a bit quicker through that mid-round.
Yeah, it's great that DPLUS were able to use the momentum while they had it after the first half. 5-1 up. They use that blitz roam clear, and it gets them the map point. But since then, we've started to see just the prowess of defense on Skyscraper. And with every round that Sandbox has managed to claw back, 3 in a row now, they just seem more confident, more composed. And DPLUS now have to be extra careful here. They've let 3 rounds slip, 2 more, and overtime will be on the agenda. If that happens, there's no doubt coming back 5 rounds in a row would be a massive momentum swing. The pendulum goes back the other way, and Sandbox would be favored. So these next 2 rounds, especially this one on the back of that tactical timeout, are absolutely critical for DPLUS.
This is an interesting defense as well for Sandbox. They're going to bring along the Clash for this one. And really, no mirror once again. So completely changing their strat book for this bomb site. To me, this is a much more reactive defense that Sandbox have got going. They're not going to hunker down on the bomb sites with preset power positions or something like that. You're going to run rampant with that Clash. You're going to be able to make impromptu setups with the Azami. Not only that, but of course, with the Thunderbird, she doesn't really bring along any anchor-centric utility. It's just all those heal stations, the bean machines, as we like to call them, to be able to bring back to life some of these defenders and keep them active in the server.
Yeah, you can see already, I think it was 2 runouts at the start of the round for Sandbox, just getting in the face of DPLUS, making them second-guess themselves. The misnomer to the strategy for me is this shotgun on Arakaze, just far less flexible than going with the MP7. Like, the shotgun is great in the right scenario. We saw that from Coded, he got a 3K with it. But I'm not sure if, like, where is Arakaze going to play that he's going to make the most of that shotty? That's my question.
I actually kind of rate the shotty on Skyscraper, to be honest. I feel like Skyscraper is a map that's like, it's small enough that you can maneuver around it like a maze, and there's lots of corners and doors and small hallways and that kind of thing, where I think it actually works quite well, especially on this bomb site, which is not really that big. Unfortunately, poor Soldier is not going to be able to get these external walls open just yet. Electrification will shut that down, and oh, look at that, Arakaji can even get the trick off.
Wow, that's a huge detriment now to D+. Fortunately, there is a Hibana as well, so it's not like the Ace was the only hard breach available. But losing 2 Selmas to that one wall and it's still not being opened, that's a massive detriment.
Yeah, I think for D+ Kia, with the lineup they have, it's going to be quite challenging to deal with the setup that Sandbox have brought, to be honest. I think that this clash is going to be just so painful to deal with. It's not like they have Zofia, it's not like they have Capital or whatever to try and deal with it. It's just, it's going to allow Demic to roam free with it and give away as much intel as he can to his team.
And here comes an opening. Coded is down. That's the most dangerous player in the server during the game. Yas is not going to find much of an in here. He's actually going to rappel into this barbecue hallway. Try and make his way up the back stairs, but he's going to be walking into a crossfire sooner or later. There's still a player in the Geisha entry. About to be droned out, I do believe, by Woogieman. And now gets off, knows the position. But is really worried about this Shrine jump out. There's so much for D+ to deal with, they can't get a handle on it.
Yeah. The more that this round ticks away, the more that I'm realizing just how impossible right from the beginning it was for D+ to actually try and deal with the setup that Sandbox had. If they'd maybe identified the setup early enough and then switched their lineup to actually deal with one or the other, either roam clear or hit direct, then maybe they could have done with it. But with what they've got going, there's just no way they're going to be able to solve these problems.
Oh, and the crossfire once again is just too much. Yas comes in from the top stairs hallway and is taken down. This could well be a flawless round, Mandy, for Sandbox on the back of D+'s tactical timeout. It's a far cry from what they hoped for, right? You had a minute to talk it through.
Really
this
good
is the opposite.
Sandbox. Like when you take that tactical timeout, keep in mind the other team can also talk as well, right? So I think for Sandbox, they're taking that time to realize, okay, D+ Kia are probably going to come up with something really structured, something really methodical. So let's change the strat book, right? Try something completely different. And the D+ lineup, there's just no way that they could have like dealt with what Sandbox decided to bring.
It really feels like for both of these teams on their attacking side, before the round even starts, they know what they're going to do. We don't see a lot of reactionary attacks, right? It's like, this is our strat. Doesn't matter what the defense is. We're not going to bother trying to drone it out in the prep phase and trying to adapt our strategy. For the most part, it seems to be banging their heads against a brick wall.
That's exactly right. There's, in this entire series, for both halves on both of these teams, there's been a real lack of attacker repick. I think there's been not that much problem solving in the prep phase going down. And I think, like you said, as a result, the defense always comes out on top, kind of right from the beginning of the round. Like, it feels very telegraphed. Like, unless D+ Kia actually identify what's going on right at the beginning and then make a decision, are you going to go direct or are you going to sweep? And then therefore, what operators do we need to bring? I don't really see them being able to close out this game. I think we'll see an overtime.
Well, that could spice things up a little bit. As I was saying before, surely the momentum swings the other direction. If we go overtime, like surely Sandbox will have just won 5 rounds in a row. They'll be looking for a 6th. I'll have a look in a second, see which team gets the overtime defense start. Because you would assume that this is going to continue to be defensive favored when we hit OT. It is actually Sandbox on defense if we go to overtime, Mandy. So they would have just won 5 in a row and they will be going into yet another defense.
Okay, so D+ Kia did actually do 2 repicks there. So we've got a repick onto the Blitz and a repick onto the Finker as well. So it would indicate to me that scary times, bad times are headed in the way of Sandbox if they don't know. which they can't, of course. There is no reveal phase. And I'm wondering what the DPLUS Key are actually going to be able to do with this double setup that they've got. Are they going to try and hit the site directly, or are they going to use Woogieman to roam clear once again, like they did the previous time they brought the Blitz?
Oh, wow. Great job there from Sandbox. Both of those Twitch drones are already taken down. I was about to say I think Twitch is an awesome pick here, clearing out those Vulcan canisters on site and any other prospective utility, for example, the mirror windows, but both of them have been taken down really early into the game. I think all the value that the DPLUS got for it was one Vulcan canister, one Goyo. So that's really good denial there from Sandbox, preventing that from having an impact.
Yeah, and instead DPLUS Kia are going to turn their attention up to the floor above instead. 2 or 3 players have decided to rappel up onto that balcony and at least open up the windows, have a look inside the wall and see if they can put pressure on those top floor players. Keep in mind, beforehand, it was Arakaje who was playing that vertical line of sight that shut down the DPLUS entry the last time they went for that execute. But maybe DPLUS Kia are going to change their point of entry this time, right? Maybe they don't go in through reception and they're just trying to look for a blind spot in that vertical setup that Sandbox have got.
I wonder if Yas has info, or if he's just gone for a jog. He definitely does not have info. And he's going to lose his life for it. There you go, Demic takes down the player. But this seems to be a bit of an early collapse now for Sandbox. And hang on a second, Woogie is just in the site. He's low HP, he has the diffuser, and he has a smoke to cover him. And the Warden is dead as well. Yeah, well,
I think they found the blind spot. I think they did it.
But is it going to be enough, Mandy? Because there's 2 players up for DPLUS to 3 from Sandbox. And this retake is potentially on. You can see Woogie is so scared. Doesn't know where it's going to be safe to make this plant.
Yeah, so Soldier has just gone a yellow ping inside of his side of the bomb site because he's looked at the ceiling and seen that there are in fact no holes here. And so all he needs to do is watch the hatch drop, turn around, see if there's anyone coming down the main stairs, and in fact it's 1, it's a second for him.
This could be it now. The flash as well. And Woogieman to close it. It took a long time. It took 5 attempts in a row to close the game, but eventually DPLUS were able to deliver the final blow. Might not have been the 7-1 that we looked on track to have, Mandy, but a 7-5 over Sandbox on their own map pick is nothing to scoff at for DPLUS.
Really nice close from DPLUS Kia to change the tempo of their attack, not taking it slow, not sending in utility for half the rounds, and instead